Posthumanism or post-humanism is a term with 7 definitions. Antihumanism: any theory that is critical of traditional humanism and traditional ideas about humanity and the human condition. Cultural posthumanism: a branch of cultural theory critical of the foundational assumptions of Renaissance humanism and its legacy, that examines and questions the historical notions of human and human nature, often challenging typical notions of human subjectivity and embodiment, and strives to move beyond archaic concepts of human nature, to develop ones which constantly adapt to contemporary techno-scientific knowledge. Philosophical posthumanism: a philosophical direction which draws on cultural posthumanism. The philosophical strand examines the ethical implications of expanding the circle of moral concern and extending subjectivities beyond the human species. Post-human condition: the deconstruction of the human condition by critical theorists. Transhumanism: an ideology and movement which seeks to develop and make available technologies that eliminate aging and greatly enhance human intellectual, physical, and psychological capacities, in order to achieve a post-human future. AI takeover: a more pessimistic alternative to transhumanism in which humans will not be enhanced, but rather eventually replaced by artificial intelligences. Some philosophers, including Nick Land, promote the view that humans should embrace and accept their eventual demise. This is related to the view of cosmism, which supports the building of strong artificial intelligence even if it may entail the end of humanity, as, in their view, it would be a cosmic tragedy if humanity freezes evolution at the puny human level. Voluntary human extinction, which seeks a post-human future, that in this case is a future without humans. Philosophical posthumanism: Shatsky, 2001, suggests there are 2 varieties of posthumanism of the philosophical kind. One, which he calls objectivism, tries to counter the overemphasis of the subjective or intersubjective that pervades humanism, and emphasizes the role of the non-human agents, whether they be animals and plants, or computers or other things. A second prioritizes practices, especially social practices, over individuals which, they say, constitute the individual. There may be a third kind of posthumanism, propounded by the philosopher Hermann Dooyeweerd. Though he did not label it as posthumanism, he made an extensive and penetrating immanent critique of humanism, and then constructed a philosophy that presupposed neither humanist, nor scholastic, nor Greek thought, but started with a different ground motive. Dooyeweerd prioritized law and meaningfulness as that which enables humanity and all else to exist, behave, live, occur, etc. Meaning is the being of all that has been created, Dooyeweerd wrote, 1955, I.4. And the nature even of our selfhood, both human and non-human alike, function subject to a common law side, which is diverse, composed of a number of distinct law spheres or aspects. The temporal being of both human and non-human is multi-aspectual. For example, both plants and humans are bodies, functioning in the biotic aspect, and both computers and humans function in the formative and lingual aspect, but humans function in the aesthetic, juridical, ethical and faith aspects too. The Dooyeweerdian version is able to incorporate and integrate both the objectivist version and the practices version, because it allows non-human agents their own subject functioning in various aspects and places emphasis on aspectual functioning. Contemporary post-human discourse. Posthumanistic discourse aims to up spaces to examine what it means to be human and critically question the concept of the human, in light of current cultural and historical contexts. In her book How We Became Post-Human, Catherine Hales writes about the struggle between different versions of the post-human as it continually co-evolves alongside intelligent machines. Such coevolution, according to some strands of the post-human discourse, allows one to extend their subjective understandings of real experiences beyond the boundaries of embodied existence. According to Hale's view of posthuman, often referred to as technological posthumanism, visual perception and digital representations thus paradoxically become ever more salient, even as one seeks to extend knowledge by deconstructing perceived boundaries. It is these same boundaries that make knowledge acquisition possible. The use of technology in a contemporary society is thought to complicate this relationship. Hales discusses the translation of human bodies into information in order to illuminate how the boundaries of our embodied reality have been compromised in the current age and how narrow definitions of humanness no longer apply. Because of this, according to Hales, posthumanism is characterized by a loss of subjectivity based on bodily boundaries. This strand of posthumanism, including the changing notion of subjectivity and the disruption of ideas concerning what it means to be human, is often associated with Donna Haraway's concept of the cyborg. However, Haraway has distanced herself from post-humanistic discourse due to other theorists' use of the term to promote utopian views of technological innovation to extend the human biological capacity. While posthumanism is a broad and complex ideology, it has relevant implications today and for the future. It attempts to redefine social structures without inherently humanly or even biological origins, but rather in terms of social and psychological systems where consciousness and communication could potentially exist as unique disembodied entities. Questions subsequently emerge with respect to the current use and the future of technology in shaping human existence emerge, as do new concerns with regards to language, symbolism, subjectivity, phenomenology, ethics and justice. Criticism. Some critics have argued that all forms of posthumanism have more in common than their respective proponents realize. Posthumanism is sometimes used as a synonym for an ideology of technology known as transhumanism, because it affirms the possibility and desirability of achieving a post-human future, albeit in purely evolutionary terms. However, post-humanists in the humanities and the arts are critical of transhumanism, in part because they argue that it incorporates and extends many of the values of Enlightenment humanism and classical liberalism, namely scientism. According to performance philosopher Shannon Bell, altruism, mutualism, humanism are the soft and slimy virtues that underpin liberal capitalism. Humanism has always been integrated into discourses of exploitation, colonialism, imperialism, neo-imperialism, democracy, and of course, American democratization. One of the serious flaws in transhumanism is the importation of liberal human values to the biotechno-enhancement of the human. Posthumanism has a much stronger critical edge, attempting to develop through enactment new understandings of the self and others, essence, consciousness, intelligence, reason, agency, intimacy, life, embodiment, identity and the body. While many modern leaders are thought or accepting of nature of ideologies described by posthumanism, some are more skeptical of the term. Donna Haraway, the author of A Cyborg Manifesto, has outspokenly rejected the term, though acknowledges a philosophical alignment with posthumanism. Haraway opts instead for the term of companion species, referring to non-human entities with which humans coexist.